should probably like a little intro.
Don't put me in it.
What's up guys? So I'm swapping my bike now for Ethan's XSR700. We got a wedding this afternoon. He's getting ready for that, so I thought I'd take his bike out for a ride and give it a little review, because I used to have one basically exactly the same as this. So, oh, you got quad lock too, I can use that. But yeah, I want to do a review on it because I reckon it's probably, in my opinion, the best learner bike you can buy. There's caveats to that, so we'll get on the road, go for a little ride, then we'll do a walk around and show you all the mods he's done to it and stuff. Bro spent way too much money on this thing. I'll get it out and start it. It feels so different. We'll do a start off the bike. He's got that cool tail light that I had on my one as well. Oh, I love the sound of these. They sound so good, the CP2 engines. Oh, it feels so different to mine. So yeah, I was saying before, I feel like this is one of the best. Like this is in New Zealand there's two versions. If you're watching this in America, there's two versions of the XSR. You can buy this version, which is the like LAMS approved beginner friendly bike, so you can buy this bike and ride it on your learner license. And then there's the full power version, which is it's basically exactly the same bike with very I think it has a different crank, so the stroke is a little bit different, which makes the CCs slightly smaller. Like I think it's 640 something. I could be wrong, but and you know the full power version is like 680 or whatever, and it's about almost half the power. I think the full version is about 75 horsepower, whereas this one is about 40 something or 50 horsepower maybe. So it's not a fast bike, but it has heaps of torque still. For someone of like my size, I'm 6'1". The seating position is nice, like it's tall enough to not feel like I'm on a learner bike, and it doesn't look like a learner bike, which is cool because, you know, vibes. This is Ethan's first road bike actually, so I kind of roped him into it, and I'm very convincing. I'm a bad influence, so. Oh, it feels so weird. It's still, like, honestly, with the low, you got to kind of get horsepower numbers out of your head, because this bike still has a bunch of torque, and it's the kind of motorbike you could buy and not like, you know, you wouldn't get sick of it straight away. Like, it has enough power to keep you interested and keep you having fun for at least a couple of years while you sit your kind of full license and stuff like that. And then you can step up from this, like XSR900 or whatever, which has a lot more power. We'll get out to some more flowy roads anyway, but it's a very easy bike to ride as well. Oh, the clutch is different. That's funny. He has like touring tires on here at the moment, so I'm not gonna, and I'm not in my full riding gear, so I'm not gonna push it hard out, but we'll get to the twisties anyway, and then because this stuff's kind of boring. So there's not really many downsides to the XSR700. It's a very basic bike, and you're kind of paying for a more basic bike. You just get the basic LCD screen, but it's got everything on it. You've got the fuel gauge, tach, a gear indicator, like it has everything you need. It's just not like a color LED screen. It's 6-speed, it has heaps of torque. It's got all the fundamentals of a good bike. Probably the thing that gets criticized the most, or I mean, I haven't really watched a lot of reviews on this bike, but I remember when I had my one, and I can already feel it on this one, the suspension is very basic, and if you're a heavier rider like me, I'm 6'1", about 100 kilos, it's not like that good on the track or something like that, you know. It's not very, I don't know, it just doesn't handle as well as something with better suspension. I mean, that's pretty obvious. So yeah, you can get some cool kits for these, like is it KSS or K something, I can't remember what the brand is, but there's a shop out there that makes some really nice suspension kits for these. So if you just change the front fork internals and put a new rear shock on, you can really transform the handling, and it's much better. But on the other hand, it's comfortable. Like, it's way more plush than my MT09SP, which is quite firm. On these roads I'd be like bouncing all over the place. For like touring or something, or like a bike to run around on for work or whatever, it has a pretty comfortable seating position. Like, it's quite upright, but it's, you know, it's still aggressive enough to kind of have some fun. This one feels a little bit more leaned over because he's changed the bars. So this has kind of lower bars from Kelpie, I think. Same with the mirrors are from Kelpie too. Really smooth gearbox as well. Very easy to shift gear. The clutch isn't hard to pull or anything. I think, you know, this review is coming from, you know, I have like 20 years riding experience. I've had TUONO V4s and, you know, pretty fast bikes, and this bike doesn't bore me. It's not like, it's not too slow or anything like that, and this is the low power version. So if you're looking at XSR700 in America, I'm pretty sure you can only get the full power version, but you guys can correct me in the comments. But yeah, let's pull over anyway and have a little walk around of it, and I'll show you some of the mods that you can get for this bike, or some of the mods that are available anyway. Oh, I just love the exhaust. Sounds so good. Real easy to find neutral too. So yeah, like I said, he's got that tail light, which is sick. I had this on my one, so it has the stop and the indicators wrapped around the side, and it gets rid of all of the tail completely. He's got a new seat cover coming, so this is the factory seat. That full Acura exhaust. Looks like it has a small cat in it maybe, but there's no baffle in it now, and it sounds pretty sick. I really love that CP2 engine sound. He's got the Kelpie mirrors, and I think these grips are from Kelpie as well. I think these indicators were from them as well, and the headlight. I think he kind of went all out with the Kelpie bits, but yeah, it makes it look pretty sick. As far as I can tell, I think that's pretty much it. Just a real stylish looking bike, if you know what I mean. Like, it just looks kind of retro, but still modern. Let's go for a little bit more of a spin. These bikes are also really easy to maintain. All of the Yamahas are pretty reliable. That reminds me, actually, I've got a I've got a manual cam chain tensioner just arrived today for my MT09. So I'll make a video installing that. I'm going to do it myself because I've got that little ticking sound, which is pretty common in those CP3 engines. But yeah, what I was saying was these CP2 motors are very reliable, like just such long running motors, and they're really easy to maintain. Side note there, it's going over that speed bump, I can feel the seat, you know, the rear suspension just kind of like wallowing with my weight on it. So yeah, the suspension's not amazing, but you know, you can still really pin it and have a good time. You get what you pay for, basically. And the MT07, if you guys don't know, it's basically the same bike as this, the MT07. It just has like a different gauge and different styling, but like the frame and the engine and everything, and just, you know, I think the rear subframe and the swing arm is all the same. So yeah, basically the same as an MT07, just a bit more stylish, I guess, if you want that retro look. It definitely sounds different on the bike than when you're following it. We'll test the overtaking power in a minute. Honestly, even with the experience I have and the bikes I have, or I've had in the past, this would be a great runaround. Like, you know, if you had my TUONO V4 still, which I don't, you know, I've sold it, but if that was my only bike, it's quite a handful, and it's quite, you know, it's an expensive motorcycle. It's not something you're going to want to daily ride. I mean, you totally could. I did, but you know, I don't have a 9-to-5 job, so it's a bit easier for me to say that. You know, having this as like a cheaper bike that you run around in and still able to have a lot of fun, it would be sick. Like, such good value for money. Plenty of power, man. No worries. It's manageable as well. Like, it's not going to kick you off if you're a learner. Like I think it'll probably, if you like went full throttle on first gear, it would wheelie. And I don't believe these bikes, not this year anyway, this is a 2018, it doesn't have traction control, it just has ABS brakes. So, you know, you'd want to be a little bit careful in first gear probably, but it's not going to wheelie in second gear without, you know, purposely giving it some shit and using the clutch. So you don't have to worry about it being too crazy in that way. If I pop it down to second now, yeah, it's not even close to coming up. But you can wheelie these, like, you know, if you put some bounce on the front forks and use the clutch, it's definitely going to pop the front wheel up. So again, like a really good balance for a learner, but still totally manageable, which is where this bike comes into it for me. And it has everything else you want, you know, like if this is your first bike, it's got the style, it's got the sound, it's fast enough, like all those things. Like the sound, in my mind anyway, makes a big difference to a really nice motorcycle, like something you're going to enjoy using. Oh man, these roadworks suck. I'm just going to do a U-E and go back the other way. I really should be wearing my jacket. I've got my Kevlar jeans on and my riding boots, but I know it's silly. Don't take notes from me on riding gear. These bikes look insane too if you put some like MT60 tires on it, like all-terrains for adventuring around the place. It's not going to do any like proper off-road, but you know, gravel roads and stuff, because the suspension's a bit plusher, it's going to be fine. I reckon that pretty much sums it up. If we give it like an overall summary, this is like a really cool looking, accessible motorcycle. It's a good height if you're bigger like me, 6'1". If you're smaller, it's not going to be too bad. It has enough power to have some fun in the twisties and not get bored, and it's really easy to ride. So I guess it comes down to style and stuff, but you know, a lot of other bikes you can buy, obviously, like 250s and 400s and things like that, and that's totally fine if you're kind of not as much of a confident rider, or maybe you're a bit nervous about, like, some people just have it in their blood. They get on a bike and they can ride straight away without any dramas, and you know, it's just it's an easier experience for some people. If you're a bit more nervous and you want something a bit easier to learn on, a 250 or like a Z400 or something is going to be totally fine. You might just get bored of it a little bit quicker and need to upgrade, and this would probably be your second step. I'll wrap it up there, guys, and I hope you enjoyed this short video. If you have any questions or comments or what you think about the XSR700, just drop a comment below. If you think there's a better learner bike, drop a comment below as well, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.